At the Meghalaya Legislative Reassembled Budget Session that started on the 20th of May 2020, a suggestion was voiced out by the MLA of Nongthymmai to deduct or defer 50% of MLA's monthly salary as a means to finance the fight against COVID-19 in the state. Earlier, it was announced that monthly salary of all the MLAs was deducted at a rate of 10%, which amounted to approximately 6,000 rupees per month, to which the MLA Charles Pingrove stated that it is a low culminated deduction rate. Meanwhile, adding that the state government should not withhold monthly salary of employees under category grade B, C and D, as it is imperative for them to be sanctioned with payments in a time like this. However, asserting that withholding salary of government officers is instead a better option. With the lockdown, official duties and works have been at a halt, which in turn has a negative impact on the state's economic status. It is imperative for the state to sort suggestive solutions from its own backyard to bring about revenue, states the MLA. Recently, prices on liquor was hiked by 25%. Petrol was hiked by 5 rupees as a way to amp up revenue amalgamation. According to Charles Pingrove, the state has had a loss of 465 crores in terms of economic status due to prohibition of coal.
So I would like to bring to your notice that in the budget discussion of 2018-19, when the state finances were in a precarious position due to the shortfall of income which would have otherwise happened because of the ban on the extraction and transportation of coal, and we were made to understand that the state suffered a deficit of almost 465 crores only from the coal sector. However, taking into consideration that this would have been a long-drawn affair, I had suggested that if the state could have an economic development board constituted to help the government and the state to look into avenues that would have helped in generating that deficit. And I'm sure the government may have taken appropriate steps in that matter. But this year, sir, we are now going through a pandemic which has caught a lot of us unaware and unprepared, not for any other reason, but because we don't anticipate such a calamity. In the process, a slew of measures were taken by the government to ensure the fiscal stability of its own resources. Because we all know that the overall health of the government, of the state, depends largely on its fiscal health. Like we had resorted to increase the cost of POL, we had resorted to increase the cost of IMFL and other measures to augment the fiscal health so that the unaccounted for expenditure could be met without having to dig from other resources. Sir, I will be grateful to you also that you had called a meeting of the Honorable Chief Minister and the Leader of the Opposition to discuss the salaries, the contribution. And we are happy to learn that the ministers and grade 1 officers were going to contribute 50% of their salary to help the Chief Minister in to make sure that we had sufficient funds in the pocket. But I would like to state, sir, that as a house of 60 members, In fact, the salaries of a minister and an honorable MLA, there's not much of a difference. Just a couple of thousand rupees, a few hundred rupees. Now I would like to say, sir, that why not we reconsider your decision? Because when I checked on my last pay bill, from my salary only 6,000 was deducted, which would probably constitute 10%. But I'd like to say, sir, that in this case, under the present circumstances, it would be in the fitness of things if, as honorable MLAs, we all agree to deduct 50% of a salary. Not only the ministers, because they have the same salary as us, like I said. So that the state's coffers can be at least be contributed to. And also, in the days to come, there will be travel allowed by all the government of India, the government of Meghalaya. So the committee tours that would have happened, sir, within the state of Northeast and outside the state should be withdrawn till the next financial year. And the funds which has been allocated in the budget of the assembly, sir. So this is your discretion, I am just suggesting, can be returned back to the government so that they can use that funds for this case. And also, sir, we have deducted 50% salaries and different slabs for grade B, C, D employees also. So most of these employees have taken home loans, have taken personal loans, have taken educational loans, and even loans for medical purposes. Now, if that is deducted from the banks, by the banks, and from the government salary, they'll have little or nothing left to put food on the table. Therefore, it's my humble submission, sir, that this government, with your permission, sir, allow us to contribute 50% of all the MLAs with salary and help them and restore back the percentage of salaries which you have deducted from the employees of BCT. Grade 1, and that's okay, because they anyway have a high salary, it doesn't affect them. Because, sir, if you go through this book, this budget presented by the Honorable Chief Minister, I read, even the increased tax devolutions and the revenue enhancing measures that we put in place, I am able to increase the development budget from state resources to 3,300 crores for the year 2021. This is a 45% increase over the previous financial year and the largest in the history of the state. I congratulate the government. And I hope that with the measures you have put in through the committee or the board which you have constituted to generate revenues will help us in these times. Sir, there's many topics to be discussed, but I felt that this was very important. So my humble request to the Honorable Chief Minister through you, sir, to consider that the salaries of the MLAs be cut by 50% and the salaries of the employees of grade 2, 3, 4 be restored immediately.